welcome back to Raven and Baby. If you are new here, welcome. I am so glad to have you. So this is going to be the first official video in the series on Hyperemesis Gravidarum. So if you are here, I'm sure most of you either have it or you think that you may have it, or maybe you know someone that has it. But these are just going to be my top 6 tips on kind of how to get through it and things that might help you a little bit. I will go ahead and do a separate video on foods that worked for me in case the same things are going to work for you. They may or they may not. I will also have some other videos on specifics about the condition, but this is just going to be 6 simple tips on how to get through it. So number 1, of course, is going to be to talk to your doctor. Now, I understand that some of you may not have been diagnosed yet, or some of you may just be a loved one of someone that has it. But of course, speaking with an actual physician is extremely important. So you know whether or not you have it, because there are severe cases of morning sickness, and there are differences between hyperemesis and gravidarum and severe morning sickness. So you definitely want to find out that you have, this, and it is not fun at all. So finding out their kind of recommendations for how to get through it is important too. And there may be medications, if it is serious enough, that you may want or need to try, and they are going to know which ones are safe for you to try during pregnancy. So that's just kind of the number 1, kind of a disclaimer. And again, also another disclaimer, this is just stuff that worked for me. What worked for me might not work for you, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I am not a professional. I am just someone who went through this experience that is sharing this experience with you to hopefully help you or someone you know. And if you think these tips will help someone, definitely share this video with them. This is a fairly rare condition. However, it is a very serious condition, and the more people that kind of know what they might be experiencing, the better, because I really didn't know anything for a long time, and it kind of took a toll on me. So definitely share this if you think it will help. So number 2 is going to be, do your best to stay hydrated. If you are anything like me, water is very nauseating. So normally I am great with drinking water, and the very beginning of the pregnancy, before I started to develop Hyperemesis gravidarum, I wanted water all the time. I craved water all the time. I was drinking tons of water. It was wonderful. But then all of a sudden, kind of a switch went off, and anytime I had a glass of water, I started feeling really nauseous. A lot of times I would throw up just from drinking water. And one thing that helped me a lot is having seltzer water. So the extra carbonation in there, for some reason, just really helped. And so I would go and get a few different types of seltzer water, like lime and, different flavors basically, but just plain seltzer water, and that definitely did help a little bit because I really wanted to stay hydrated. One really scary aspect of this condition is you are vomiting so frequently that you can very easily become dehydrated, and that is one easy way to send yourself to the hospital. And so it is very important to do your best to stay hydrated, but I do understand that can be a difficult concept when anytime you have a sip of water, you just want to puke your brains out. So just do what you can do. Now, take this part with a grain of salt, but I would say do not focus extremely heavily on how healthy a food is. Now, obviously, you want to be fueling your body in the right way. You have someone else in there that you are also trying to fuel, and you don't want to put a bunch of junk in there. But when it comes down to it, if you can only have like some 400 calorie tasty cake for some reason, versus vegetables in general, just, I love vegetables, but anytime I had vegetables, I was throwing up like crazy. A lot of healthier items were very difficult. And then about 5 months into the pregnancy, I started craving a lot of not so good things. And that was really hard for me. And I kept telling myself that was bad and I couldn't have that. And why would I want to put that in my body? But if it's between not being able to eat anything at all and being able to eat something that's kind of junky, just go with that kind of junky. Whatever your body is telling you is important to listen to that. I think that I was craving really calorie dense foods because I was throwing up so much and I had started losing weight and that sort of thing. So definitely listen to your body, and if it's something that's not the most healthy, just go with it. Let yourself have that, because you need to be able to put something in there. You need to be able to have some calories. So if it happens to be a sweet thing or French fries or something like that, just let yourself do it. You need those calories. It's important. And like, don't go ham, but if you have hyperemesis, you're probably not able to go ham anyway, so. Another recommendation is try Coca-Cola. So the cola syrup is actually something that used to be used, I would say back in the 50s or 60s, as an aid for when you felt really nauseous and needed to throw up. And it did help me a bit. I'm not going to go out and say that if I felt like I was going to vomit, I had a small can of Coke and all of a sudden I was not throwing up. That's not the case, but it did help with the nauseous feeling a little bit. I will say most days I felt nauseous all day long, and it is very difficult and very draining to feel nauseous literally all day long. And if there's something that can help a tiny bit with that nauseous feeling, I will take it, because that was so uncomfortable and just so hard to deal with. And Coca-Cola did help a little bit. So I wasn't, having cans and cans of Coke every single day, but if you are having a very difficult time with the nauseous feeling and it's really bringing you down, try a little bit of Coca-Cola, see if it helps ease those symptoms a little bit. And if it does, then allow yourself a little bit of Coke here and there to help yourself through this kind of difficult situation. Okay, this is going to sound a little ridiculous, but for me, I was projectile vomiting like crazy. It was just everywhere all the time. And I would throw up. This is going to be very graphic, so if stuff like that bothers you, then skip ahead. And maybe I'll even put what the skip ahead time is on the screen for you. I would get a bucket. I would recommend getting a bucket because I would throw up in the toilet and the water and puke would come splashing back out. It would get not only all over the seat, all over the floor, but it would wind up in my, on my clothes, in my hair, back onto my face. It was the most disgusting thing ever. And God forbid I was at a public restroom. I was then getting that even more nasty water all over my face with who knows what kind of germs. It was beyond disgusting. But I got myself a bucket and I would throw up in that, and then I would pour some hot water in there and then dump it down the toilet, and I would clean the bucket out and stuff. But it made it, even though it was a pain in the butt to clean after the fact, it made it so much easier because chunks were not going everywhere. The bucket was nice and deep enough that it wouldn't splash back out really. And so it made the whole process a lot easier to deal with. I highly recommend it. And I did my best to not ever have to throw up out in public, because if I had to throw up out in public, I probably didn't have the bucket with me and it was probably going to be a nasty, messy situation. Definitely have some wipes in your purse. Invest in those baby wipes early on. Okay, and then the last tip is just to really focus and visualize on what the end game is. It can be very, very difficult to get through this. Many women out there end up having abortions, or even worse, there have been suicides because of how difficult it is to get through this condition. So just really, I know that when you are puking your brains out and you feel miserable and it's so hard, that it's also very hard sometimes to think about the end game, but just do your best to think about what it's going to be like to have that baby, especially if you've been trying for a really long time and you were finally blessed with a pregnancy. Do your best to focus on the positive. It's very easy to get yourself down when you are in this situation. So really do your best to try to imagine what your life is going to be like when it's all over, once you've had that baby and that beautiful baby is in your arms, because it makes all the difference to be able to think about that instead of thinking about how miserable you are. You are still going to be miserable. It is still probably going to be really hard, and I hope that you have a wonderful support system. Many people don't understand this condition. They think that you just have morning sickness, so it can be very hard when you are talking to other people and they are just saying, oh, get over it, I had morning sickness, because that probably will happen. So whatever you can do to kind of think about the light at the end of the tunnel, definitely do it when you are going through those hard times. And there are support systems out there and websites that you can go to, and also lots of YouTube videos where people are talking about their experience through this. So watch other videos of other people who made it through and, you know, they have their beautiful baby. I have an amazing 6-month-old that I could not live without. And it's crazy to say this, but I would totally do it all over again. When I was in the middle of it, I don't think I would have said that, but I'm at the point where even though the next pregnancy could come with HG, I would still love to get pregnant again and have another amazing little baby. You're saying hi? Hey. Yeah. So you can do it, and reach out to me if you need to. If you need someone to talk to, I am here for you, because I know that it is very hard. But I just feel so blessed that I have her, and she made me stronger. So anyways, I am sending my love to you. If you have this, I am so sorry. I understand that it is difficult and hard, but you can do it. You really can. You might not think you can, but you can. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Share this video with anyone that you think this could help. And I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.